In the ancient land of Mesopotamia, long before the rise of great empires, a tyrant named Nimrod ruled with a heart filled with pride and a mind drowned in illusion. Under his command, the people of Babylon worshipped massive idols, silent stones carved by human hands yet treated as gods. Temples echoed with rituals, offerings, and chants, while the truth was buried under centuries of superstition. But prophecies had already whispered about the arrival of a child whose message would shake the throne of Nimrod and destroy the legacy of idol worship. When Nimrod dreamt of a star descending from the sky and overshadowing his kingdom, his priests warned him, "A boy will be born who will challenge your rule and expose the falsehood of your gods." Terrified, Nimrod ordered the killing of every newborn boy in his empire. Yet the child chosen by Allah was protected. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhis salam was born in secret, and his mother hid him inside a cave outside the city. Allah protected him as he grew, and when he finally emerged into society, he entered a world trapped in darkness. Everywhere he turned, he saw people bowing to idols. He saw his own father Azar carving statues with his hands and selling them as gods. Ibrahim alayhis salam watched silently, thinking deeply, observing everything. How could something made by human hands become a divine being? How could lifeless stones decide the fate of living men? As he grew older, his heart began to search for the truth. One night, while he stood under the vast Mesopotamian sky, he saw a brilliant star. He said, "This is my Lord." But when the star disappeared, he said, "I do not love those that vanish." Then he saw the moon rise. He said, "This is my Lord." But when it also set, he said again, "If it disappears, it cannot be my Lord." Finally, the sun rose with blazing light, and he said, "This is my Lord." But when it too sunk beneath the horizon, he said, "I turn my face to the one who created the heavens and the earth." This was not confusion, this was teaching. The young prophet was showing his people that anything that rises, sets, changes, or disappears cannot be God. With this realization, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhis salam began inviting his father and his people to the truth. He approached his father gently and said, "O my father, why do you worship what cannot hear, see, or help you?" But his father, blinded by tradition and anger, shouted at him, "Leave me or I will stone you. Go away." Yet Ibrahim alayhis salam remained patient. He went to the grand temples and questioned the priests, "Do these idols answer you? Do they benefit you? Do they harm your enemies?" His words shook the foundations of their beliefs. People began whispering in fear and anger, "This young man threatens our gods. He will destroy our traditions." The priests warned Nimrod, and Babylon began turning against him. But Ibrahim alayhis salam was not done yet. Every year, the people held a massive festival outside the city. When the day arrived, Ibrahim alayhis salam told them, "I am sick," and stayed behind. When the entire city emptied, he walked alone into the great temple, where hundreds of idols sat decorated with fruits and offerings. He looked at them and said, "How strange that you cannot even protect yourselves." He lifted an axe. He struck the idols one by one, smashing them into pieces until the entire hall was filled with broken stone. Only one idol, the largest, was left standing. He hung the axe on its shoulder and walked away. When the people returned and saw their gods shattered, chaos erupted. "Who did this to our idols?" they screamed. Someone said, "There is a young man who speaks against our gods. His name is Ibrahim." He was dragged before the king. Nimrod glared at him and said, Did you do this to our gods, Ibrahim? But Ibrahim alayhis salam pointed to the largest idol and replied calmly, ask him. He has the axe. The people were stunned. They knew their idols couldn't speak. They knew the boy was right. But arrogance is stronger than truth for those who refuse to accept it. The priests shouted, burn him. Burn him in the greatest fire ever seen. Nimrod commanded the construction of an enormous fire. Workers gathered wood for days, mountains of logs piled high. When the fire was lit, its flames rose so high that the sky turned red. Birds fell from the heat. No one could go near it. So they built a giant catapult to throw Ibrahim alayhis salam into the flames. His hands were tied. The crowds gathered in excitement, waiting to witness the burning of the man who challenged their beliefs. As the moment approached, the angel Jibreel alayhis salam descended and asked him, do you need help? Ibrahim alayhis salam replied with absolute trust, from you, no. From Allah, He is enough for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs. This was not ordinary faith, this was faith that could move worlds. The catapult was released. Ibrahim alayhis salam flew into the air toward a fire so massive that no human had ever seen its equal. But before he reached it, Allah issued a command that changed the very nature of creation, O fire, be coolness and peace for Ibrahim. Instantly, the flames lost their heat. What was a raging inferno became a garden of peace. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhis salam landed in the middle of the fire unharmed. The ropes binding his hands burned away, but not a single hair on his body was harmed. He sat calmly inside, surrounded by tranquility while the fire continued to roar outside without touching him. The people watched in shock. Their jaws dropped. Their voices froze. Their gods had failed. Their fire had failed. Their king had failed. The miracle was undeniable. For days the fire burned, and when it finally died out, Ibrahim alayhis salam walked out as if stepping from a cool breeze. Nimrod trembled. His pride collapsed. The man who claimed to be God could not even burn a human being. But arrogance still chained his heart, and he refused to accept the truth. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhis salam said to the people, your idols could not save themselves, nor could they harm me. Fire obeys Allah. Many people believed in him after this miracle, but others continued to deny the truth out of pride. Finally, by Allah's command, Ibrahim alayhis salam left Babylon. From his journey came nations, prophets, and legacies that shaped the world, Hazrat Ismail alayhis salam, Hazrat Ishq alayhis salam, and eventually the final messenger Muhammad. The story of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhis salam and the fire remains one of the greatest lessons in human history, that truth stands firm even when the entire world stands against it, that one man with faith is stronger than an entire empire of falsehood, and that even the fiercest fire becomes harmless when Allah commands it to be so. This is not just the story of a man who survived a fire. It is the story of a man whose faith could not be burned.